one way or another, we always maintained that there would be an outcome. How that outcome manifested itself, I didn't ever believe it would result in Derby's liquidation. These things are always difficult to achieve.
Yeah.
If the administrators got it across the line with somebody that has the best interests of the football club and isn't driven by some alternative motivation, then off they go. 28,000 fans at Pride Park next season with a new dawn and a huge opportunity for Liam Rosenior if he's going to be given the opportunity to run that football club. Huge opportunity.
Well, he's got it at the moment on an interim basis. You would love it if he gets it full-time, Trevor. He's a mate, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just because of that.
No, but he's got to earn it. He's got to earn it. And I think the work that he's done with Wayne Rooney, the experience he's got in them troubled times at Derby County, will hold him in good stead. You know, getting a new owner in, I think that's massive news for Derby fans. I'm really delighted for him. I hope it gets released soon, that this has been confirmed, because if it is, that's now a foundation. They can move forward as a club, and he can move forward with his recruitment, which you said he's already been given a few green lights to go and do a little bit of business, you know, for signings and things like that. So obviously things are close.
He's a very bright young man, Liam Rosenior, and I want to see him move smoothly from the theory that I think sometimes he is very adept at into the practice.
He's a young man, isn't he, Simon? That's my only concern. So I would say,
but he's got the chops verbally. And I think he's done a decent job coaching. So I want to see the theoretical side of his presentation move into the practice.
Yeah. I'd like to see someone just a little bit more experienced than him as a number 2. Go in there and just support him, because I feel at times, you know,
Who are you thinking of, Trevor? Are you thinking of you, Trevor?
I'm not thinking of me, Jim, but I would like to. I would like to see a bit of experience around him. I mean, you see a lot of managers who go and do this. They go as a young person. They get someone experienced who understands the lay of the land.
In the passing, what do you make of Rooney? Exiting stage left at the particular time he did. Simon called him a fool.
I disagreed with Simon. I did hear Simon's opinion on that, and I respect that, obviously. But for me, I just feel he was very frustrated. It's been a long 18 months now. He's been at the football club. I think he's done really well with the performances, the results that he's managed to get for the football club. Obviously, you know, getting points taken off him is what's killed him ultimately. But I thought he's done a good job. I think he's held himself in a good way, especially after when he had the situation in the hotel, and I thought from there on in, I thought he's going to give everything to this football club, and that's exactly what he did. I think at the end of it, it's just got a little bit long in the tooth for him, and he's thought, you know what, I'm going to walk away from this.
Contextually, the argument was being advanced that he is going to be in situ for a Premier League job, and I don't think there is a parallel universe where he's in situ for in the way of an opportunity for a Premier League job.
Not yet.
And I think he'll struggle to get another Championship job. So with that in mind, I think he's a fool for stepping away now, because the opportunity with somebody to rebuild Derby would possibly give him the opportunity to achieve his end game.
I slightly disagree.
That's why I think he's foolish.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about the Premier League club. I don't think he's probably ready for that yet, but I think he's earned these stripes in the Championship, and he will earn a Championship club. And on top of that, maybe. I'm gonna make a statement here. I feel he's got more potential than both Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard to be a top
See,
manager.
I've listened to him, and
but what do you base that on?
Him as a person, I know him. I know all 3 players. I've met them. I just think Wayne. Listen, Wayne.
I think
let's not. I
think he lacks discipline. In his
I think he's had it. I think he's made that mistake now as a manager. But I think I think that will be the first and last.
But I think we look at him physically. I look at his presentation. I put myself in the eyes of a current owner by having been a previous
physically
owner,
and what they look like.
And I think to myself, from a media point of view, without having spent time with him personally, but from media, when I listen to him, I think to myself, is that someone I would employ? And he doesn't tick the boxes.
Right, that's from your point of view. From my point of view as a player, I'm going to say I think players will respond to him unbelievably well. But because he's not perfect.
But the job as of a manager,
because he's not perfect, because he's had the ups and downs, because any problem that any player in that squad has got, they can go to Wayne Rooney. He's probably experienced
it,
and he'll be able to help him.
The job of a manager isn't just to manage players; it's to manage up to, and it's to manage the entire aspects of a football club, from everything from his relationship to the chief executive to the owner, and I don't see that in his locker.
He's a people's
person. I think at this moment in time, he may well be a player's player.
No, he's a people's person.
A player's manager. But in the long game, you don't win anything by being a player's manager. You win something by being a leader and by being fair and equitable and being able to influence and make players better. Klopp isn't about being a popular person. Klopp is about making players better.
I'm not saying it. I'm not talking about popularity. I'm talking about players will want to play for him because he's a great people person.
Well, you'd like to think so, because that's their job. But Trevor, Michael Beale was on the show the other day, having worked at Liverpool, Chelsea, having worked with Gerrard at Rangers, having worked with Gerrard at Villa, and he says one word, standards. Standards. Right across the board, standards. That's where Gerrard's
Roy
different.
Keane's got standards.
Are you saying
Roy
that
Keane's got
Wayne
standards.
has got the same standards as Steven Gerrard?
Being too perfect or being too harsh doesn't work. You've got to have empathy as well.
Okay, but standards doesn't mean you have to be overzealous in wanting people to be disciplined. Standards means you hold people to a high standard. I don't think Wayne Rooney holds himself to a high standard.
You listen to what Pep says about his players, about the pressure that he doesn't want on his players. That's
about
standards.
That's media facing.
No.
That's media facing.
That's standards in training, but you still got to have a life.
Yes, of course.
And I think some managers don't have that cut-off point.
But that's
they expect you a little bit like what your opinion of players is, Simon. They want them to go to training, train, play well, go home, and never be heard of again.
But that's not true.
Well, that's what I think your opinion of players is.
That's not true, because if you pay attention to what I've actually said, I'm sitting there defending players like Jack Grealish going out during the close season and watching the media make a 4-act play out of him having a drink in Las Vegas. I think there is a time and way to behave in modern football. You can't have all the upsides without some of the downsides, and I expect elite footballers to behave in an elite fashion.
Yeah, I understand that, but that seems a bit slight change of stance from you, Simon.
That's not
for me.
It's been a consistent stance. I hold people accountable for both the good and the bad with an equal measure.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish, and his behaviour during the COVID and during certain aspects of his career has been ridiculous. But his behaviour in Las Vegas during the close season, it's got nothing to do with anybody.
I'd agree with you to a certain extent, but I would say, I commented on the season recently that certain Manchester United players have had, and especially last season, and if a player has had a season like that, in the off season where they've not played a lot of football, they've not played well, and they've not really covered themselves in any glory, in the off season, that's the time to put things right and get yourself fit and get your head down and work on your conditioning, work on your touch. And for certain players, that I think Jack might fall under that, because he's not had a absolutely overwhelming season at Manchester City. So for what he's doing now,
about Pep Guardiola then, because on one hand you're saying that he doesn't put them under this kind of pressure. Now you're saying that he should be putting Jack Grealish under pressure.
I'm not saying he should be putting Jack Grealish under pressure. I'm saying Jack Grealish taking accountability for his own performances. If I was Jack Grealish, I would have got my head down this summer and done really well with my work.
Should he not have done that in his first season? When he spoke to Jeff Shreves when City won the title, we're on piece here for a moment, but I'll say it. What did he say to Jeff Shreves? What did I think of the first season? In 4 words, harder than I thought.
So what would you do if that's
harder than I thought?
What would you do?
Harder than he thought?
Well,
why wasn't he ready for it?
Well, because you've got a standard that you play into and you think you are there. And when he plays against Manchester City, when he plays against Manchester United or all the other top teams, he does well. Comment. But then going away from that, when all of a sudden you come back and now becoming a small fish in a big pond, you're just another fish in a very big pond.
See, I think it's a fair comment from Jack Grealish. If you've played at Aston Villa with a level of expectation and you're now rocking into the best team, arguably, I don't think they are, but the best team in the country that are winning Premier Leagues week in, week out, or year in, year out, then you're going to have a complete change of culture. Now, the argument Trevor advances, and in some respects he's right, is with that lesson having been learnt, I thought it was a fair answer to a question from Jeff Shreves. With that lesson being learnt, is it in your best interests to be away in Las Vegas, partying?
Well, the player I was talking about was Marcus Rashford. Yeah. I've seen him working this summer. When everyone else is away, partying and doing their bits and bobs, I've seen Marcus working his backside off. He's got a new manager. Yeah. He is playing for his future. I've been in that position before myself.
And Marcus Rashford last year decided he needed a holiday rather than
deal with it. His confidence when he wasn't fit.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Oh, sorry.
So Marcus Rashford decided after the Euros that he needed to play in, that he wasn't fit enough to play in, that rather than come back and perform for his club, he was going to be afforded the luxury of having another 2 weeks holiday before having an operation. So that put him back into the middle to the end of October before he's even available for his club. They've got to get balance and everything.
Yeah. I would think so. Liam Senior, if you're listening, before you go into that meeting at Derby County, welcome to management.
Good luck.
It's 11:15.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.